Hi guys, time for a model update. In terms of length of update this time, I think this one's going to be quite short, you know. I don't think that it's going to be as long as the others. Not that there's not as much sort of new stuff in it, it's just that when I was looking over some of the footage, it was like, you know what, I'm just rehashing stuff that I've already done before. There's no need to see me cut in parts and, you know, see me glue bits together or, you know, sand stuff down. So yeah, there's all that sort of stuff that's been done in this series for Red Dwarf. I've cut out. So it's just basically down to the sort of all sort of new footage then, I suppose. But in terms of how the update's gone this week, I've made some progress. Oh yes, I've made some progress. Some good progress. It's actually one of those updates that when I realised when I started filming this bit, that I was like, do you know how far along you are? Do you know? Because this is a visual sign of just how far along you are. But anyway, enough of my smiley face and my happiness. Let's get on with the update. Moving on. Okay, we're over on my work table now, and as you can see, I've started test fitting the rear rings for Red Dwarf. I've got it with the brass rods sticking through. Now I've got packs upon packs of all different sorts of tubing, square tubing, round tubing, clear. I've got H-beam. This is just like, you know, these are sort of offcuts as well from other projects as well. So, but it's always good to keep this sort of stuff together. So, because you never know when you're going to need it. But what I've been doing now, let's move this aside. Try to come around and not hit the camera. What I've been doing right now is the rear engine boosters, and this is a scrap one, one that I was testing. And basically what I've done is I've got some clear rod, which I had from my handy dandy bag, and all I've done here is I've just really sort of, if you look at that, you can see I've rounded, maybe you can't, I've rounded and frosted the end of it, and this basically just slots into the engine booster like so, and you can see how that's starting to glow there. That's just off natural light, but if I put a light source through it, it does that. So it's a nice bright glow, and obviously the more pointed you make the light, the brighter it gets. Now the reason why I'm doing this as opposed to using an LED is the fact that I don't want the light to be so bright that you can't look at it. I want it to be, you know, a nice bright light, which it will be, but I don't want it to be so bright that when you turn it on you can't look at the model. So and what this does is it gives you a, by sanding the sides as well, you get this more omni glow, so it lights up the whole engine bell. Another reason for doing this and not using LED is the fact that when it comes to putting LEDs into Red Dwarf, there are 14 engine boosters on the back, which means that you either have to wire it in a series circuit so that it meets the 12 volt power level, which I've regulated it at, or you'd have to put in resistors, and if you're doing that, you're relying on the components not to fail, and the more components you got, the more chances of failure. So that's why I'm doing it this way, and it should work out fine. So that's that. Something else I've been working on is the front forks, and after getting them all out of the mould and doing a nice bit of cleanup on them, they are looking pretty good. There's really not a lot wrong with them. I think I need a little bit of sanding and whatnot just to smarten it up, and then detail added to it. So there's those, and aside from that, it's basically been all about the main body. Okay, so back over at the main body of Red Dwarf now, and it's pretty much done. The construction and detailing is pretty much finished. There's bits to go on here, but I'm going to leave them off. I'm going to do trench detail because I need to be able to get in here to add some of the detail in. And what I'll be doing is I'll be building them on pallets and sliding them in, so I can't really slide it in if this is blocked off. So I'll put them in and then add these pieces to the back. But as for right now, I've got all the detail on there done, on all the front, on this side. Now there's a bit of detail to go in here, here and here, but not much. But all that side is done. And one thing to note as well about Red Dwarf is that the detail on this side is a bit more uniform than the detail on the other side, which is a little bit odd, but I guess mainly because the detail on this side is sort of more presentation side. There's a lot more of it, so I don't know whether or not I should add a bit more detail to that side. But you know, that is how the studio model is. I've got the engine bells here, which aren't glued on yet. You can see I've got all the acrylic pipe in there for it to illuminate. You can see how they glow like that. So that can sit on top. So that's ready to be glued on. I've got all the nose detail done. Let's see if I can bring this down, just so you can see a bit more. So yeah, all the detail around the nose there is done on all the way around. So really and truly, I think, aside from a few minor details here and there, it's ready for me to stick some masking tape on for the things I want to protect, and primer. And there you go, there's a better view of now the rear engine boosters now, and you can see how much better it looks with those rods in place, giving it the glow to all the engine bells. It looks really good. I mean, it's you know, it's Red Dwarf. You know, things are meant to be sort of like knackered and broken and everything. So the fact that things are looking this good is just a bonus, I think. But yeah, I'm really liking it, and I think I can now secure these engine bells onto the back of the ship, and we can get things masked off, ready for priming. Moving on. So before I go and give this a coat of primer, I just thought I'd show you this. I don't need to do any sort of major masking to this, so all I've done here is I've taken 2 strips of masking tape and just covered the rear of the engine boosters, just to make sure that no paint goes in there and gets on those end caps. And as for the damaged decks, I've just taken about 4 sheets of kitchen roll. I've just crumpled it up and just tucked it into all the decks so that there's something protecting them. It's not like I'm going to be hitting it with enough primer, you know. I'm not going to be just like this with a primer, you know. It's going to be a dusting over this sort of area, so that should be fairly safe anyway. But with the paper in there, it's just you don't need to go nuts and just cut bits of tape and go all the way around it. Just crumpling it up, stuff that in, good to go. So I've got the primer on, and we have ourselves a grey dwarf. Do you know, this is only the first coat of primer, so it's only a pretty thin coat, but it's nice and even. But even so, I'm looking at it now, and do you know what? There's not as much to fix on this model as I thought there would be. It's surprising. There are little bits like here and here. There's a gap there, but it's honestly not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be, you know, spending a lot of time with the tuber primer filler, sitting down and just going over it. But actually, I'm quite happy with that. It's come together really well. I don't know if I can turn this. I don't know if I should. So yeah, there's the offset side and the top. And you can really see how by just giving it that coat of primer has brought out all these sort of details that were previously hidden by, you know, things being transparent or just, you know, really sort of difficult to see. But now you can see all the details that have been really added to the model. And yeah, I'm surprised. There's a little bit of cleanup to be done there and there. But yeah, again, it's not a lot. It's really not a lot. I thought it was going to be much, much worse. So yeah, I'm very happy. It means now that the stuff that does need fixing isn't going to take that long, and it also means that I can look at working on all the stuff that I really want to have fun doing, which is sort of all the trench detail and whatnot. I've got the part for the nose actually ready to go. So this part here needs a very little bit of cleanup to it, and then this can be added to the top, and that's basically what's going to be mounting all the forks for the front of the ship. And you'll notice there's sort of 3 holes in there. My intention is to line this up to the top and then drill holes down through there, put some rods in there so that this will be able to be removable, and then these rods will stick out through here and you just slot them in and that'll be the front end on. But yeah, I mean it's looking groovy. Look at that. Look at that. Damn, that's sexy. Never thought I'd say that about Red Dwarf, but there we have it. It does look really, really cool. So happy about that. It just means that now I've got a visual representation of all the work that I've been putting in and going. It's coming together. So I'm going to give this a probably overnight to dry. And then or maybe later on, we'll see how it goes. Leave it till later on, yeah, and then give it another coating of grey. Once that's done, then I'll do the filling and whatnot and some sanding back and take a real good look at it when I'm not fiddling with the camera at the same time. But then I'll sit down, I'll switch all the lights on, and I'll start going over it with the black and having a look, see where things need to be light blocked, and yeah, just it'll literally, you know, it's doing it bit by bit. But I think all the work that I put in at the beginning and all the planning that I did and the way I structured it out, I think it's all sort of really culminating right now. So I'm very happy with the way this is going. So this is the front end section of Red Dwarf. This is the very front of the nose, and this is the new piece that I've made. That's going to sit on the front, and basically it's got these little lugs on it that you can see all around there. And how this is going to work is that I have one of the forks here, and basically what happens is that you just sand this corner here so that it fits more flush with the edge there, and basically these lugs are formed at an angle and all the way around, and basically what that'll happen is that the fork will sit flush in the middle like so, and when you face forward it's at the correct angle. Now I'll have to work out, you know, where it's end. I think that's about flush like that, so that should be roughly about the position that it needs to be in. So oh, there we are. That's just popped into place. Like as I said, it just popped into place. So yeah, so I'm going to get the forks done, and then they can be applied and all the way around, and then it's a case of drilling in small holes into the forks and adding the brass rod to go from one fork to the other. Now there's 3 layers. There's one here, and one out on the end, and it's just a lot of fine brass wire, which is why I'm not too worried about the resin on these parts. I am really worried about the webbing. So that's why I don't want to attach these parts to Red Dwarf for delivery. I want to leave them separate because that will be quite a delicate part. But you know what? That's how it's going to work. You can see I've drilled the holes there. Oh, no, I haven't drilled them. I formed it with the holes there. So I'm going to put some little rods through there, and that'll just slide into the front of the nose. I'll attach this to the front of the nose and just drill holes, and then these rods will just slide straight in and hold it in place. So but that's my method of doing it. I think that's the best thing to do, is to keep this separate so for delivery, and then when Lou has it, then he can just Oh, ice cream van. Thanks for that. I'll have a 99. I'm going to leave that in. I'm going to leave that in. What am I like? Yeah, where was I? I don't know, I'm thinking about ice cream now. Damn it. Right. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm really happy with the way or where it's at right now. Because now I've got a sort of a visual cue as to, you know, what's left to do. And it's not that much, you know. I'm hoping, you know, by the time we come around to the next update, there's really not a lot going to be left. Hopefully, fingers crossed, things work out. By the time the next update happens, it'll be like, you know what, there could be colour going on. So I'm not going to put that out there to get you all, you know, excited. Not that you'd be excited about paint, but not as excited as me anyway. But yeah, I think that the next update's going to be sort of pretty close to starting to get some red on the Crimson Short one. So I'm going to leave that there and say, if you've enjoyed this model update, feel free to like and comment on this video, subscribe to this channel, share this video if you like. But until next time, I'll see you later, guys.